What I just dealt with this morning was freaking bizarre. Hello, True Tales of the Paranormal family. I am back after a long hiatus due to some health issues. All good now, hopefully. I am here today with a brand new True Tale of the Paranormal that just happened today. You're getting this literally hot off the presses about less than 30 minutes after it happened. So here goes. My family and I, we live in a 2-story house. And at the top of the second story, there's a little loft area with a large window and a window bench. And that basically is the spot where my cat Blue Star likes to take her naps. And she'll sleep there, as cats do, for an hour at a time without moving. And I put a little cardboard box there for her because you know how cats love boxes. And so she'll curl up in that box and take her naps, right? Well, sometimes she'll be sitting next to the box and looking out the window because if you lean toward the glass, you can see our street. And so she'll do that and she'll take peeks down the street. Okay. What I just dealt with this morning was freaking bizarre. This is one paranormal phenomena that numerous people have recorded, have written about, have spoken about. You can Google videos on it on YouTube and a ton of stuff will come up. Personally, I never believed in it because I thought it was all bullshit. And this is the theory that we are living inside of a computer simulation. Okay, just that alone is enough for me to go, right. And people have been recording catching glitches, and it's been like there's been recordings supposedly of the sun glitching, but with AI these days, anything can be faked, anything. And so I take all that with about a few bowls of salt, handful of salt. No, take it with a few bowls of salt. What I saw this morning, I absolutely cannot explain. There was my cat seated on the window seat next to her box, right? She wasn't looking out the window like she normally does. She was oriented and looking at the wall of this small loft area. And I've got a couple of pictures up there, and I used to have an art table there, so it's nothing fancy there, and it's even kind of junky right now because some of my art supplies are still there. And I thought, oh, is she staring at a bug? Now, the thing you have to know about Blue Star going into this, she is not a huntress. She has zero interest in bugs, and she'll see a bug and she'll stare at it for maybe about 5 seconds, and then she'll go about her day and ignore it. Much to my chagrin, because I'm like, Blue Star, who feeds you? You need to earn your keep. Kill the bugs. No, this cat has never killed a bug in her life, okay? So she's sitting there on the window seat, staring at the wall, and I'm thinking, oh, there's got to be a spider there. With the change of weather, bugs start to come into the house. So I go up there, and I am not being quiet. Our stairs are carpeted. The upstairs flooring is carpeted. So, of course, walking across it, no one's going to make much noise. But I was, just walking normally. You would be able to hear me coming up the stairs. And there's nothing wrong with Blue Star's hearing, okay? I get up to the top, and I'm looking at her, and she still has not moved. And so I take a couple of more steps because this window bench, it's like about, 9 feet in front of the second floor landing. So you don't have to walk very far to get to it, And I'm now in this little enclosed area where the window seat is. I get to within a foot of her. She's completely frozen, and I can now see my cat is no longer breathing. There's no shifting of her ribs as she breathes. See, she's a very slim cat. She just turned 13 in September, and the vet calls her a petite because she never grew beyond the size of a 9-month-old kitten, which is great. She's also extremely playful, very active, even at 13 years old. You wouldn't know she was 13 looking at her and watching her behavior. So she's seated there, staring at the wall, and I realize she's not breathing. And I'm like, what the hell? I go, Blue, I call her Blue for short, or Bluey. I'm like, Blue, Blue, and I'm still about, 2 feet away from her. She's not moving. She's not responding to me. She didn't turn to look at me. And again, she is not breathing. So then I take 2 more steps, and now I'm right there next to her. And I go, Blue, and suddenly she goes, and she just slowly turns her head toward me. Like someone just flipped a switch and turned my cat on. And she acted completely normal, stood up and rubbed her head up against my tummy. And I'm prodding her and lifting her up. And, are you okay? You weren't breathing. And she's just looking at me like, what's your problem? So I'm here to report that today, Tuesday, November 25th of 2025, I actually saw my cat glitch. I don't believe in the simulation theory. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But then again, I don't have an explanation for this. Now, I would say, excuse me, my logical mind would say, well, she's staring at a bug on the wall, which is what I assumed from the get-go as I could see her coming, as I was coming to the top of the stairs. There was no bug over there. Now, it could have been a little speck of dust. Their eyes are so much better than our eyes. I couldn't rule that out. But the weird thing is, she was not breathing. And I know for a fact she was not breathing. I can see her breathe because her sides, respond to her breath. They expand, they contract, expand, contract. Because she is a thin cat. She's not painfully thin or anything. She's just, of slight build. So I don't know what to say about this. If she were breathing during this experience, I would just say, oh, she sees a speck of dust and she's not responding to me because she's fascinated by this speck of dust. I can't say that because my cat was not breathing. I would estimate for a good 2.5 seconds. That's my best estimate. By the time I got to the edge of that loft and it registered in my brain she was not breathing, it probably took me another 2 seconds to realize something really weird's going on and then to reach her. As I'm also calling her name, trying to get her to respond to me. And she was not responding. My cat was definitely in the off position. I have no way to explain this. I have never, ever seen anything like this. When it comes to these glitches people are reporting on, I am a first timer. And it's not something weird like, you set your keys down somewhere, you go off to do something, you put your keys there and you go back and the keys are gone. Then you come back a little while later and they're right there, exactly where you left them, in the same position in which you left them. Objects. That's a very common glitch that people are reporting on. I haven't seen reports on living glitches. So this was a living glitch involving a living animal who just had her full workup at the vet's. She does not have any, allergies. So sorry. She doesn't have any cardiovascular issues going on. Nothing. Except for some kidney issues, she got a clean bill of health. So we can't say, oh, maybe she's developing a heart condition, or maybe there's something going wrong with her lungs. Nope. So what do you think was going on with my cat Blue Star? I would love to hear your theories and your opinions in the comments below. So please be sure to drop them there and we can go over them. And if there's enough there for material, I would love to report on them in a follow-up video to this one. This is the first glitch I've ever experienced. I've had the glitch with objects too, which I just put up to me being, having a senior moment, even though these glitches began like when I was like 15 or 16, something like that. Still, you set things down all the time and you forget where you put it. I don't put any stock into that at all. But this involving my cat and specifically seeing she clearly was not breathing for 2 to 2.5 seconds. I have no explanation whatsoever. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Meantime, I am very happy to be back. I thank you all for your prayers, positive energy. It's meant so much to me. I am doing pretty much great now after not one but 2 surgeries, one on the eye, one on my wrist. Public service announcement, PSA, be careful to not overuse your phones or you'll end up with a nice scar like this. So I thank you all, and this is Nefer Kefri, your hostess with the ghostess, and you've been watching True Tales of the Paranormal.